UK or Canada, where should my next study or relocation destination be? So in this video, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of studying or moving to the UK and Canada. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Chinemerem, and if you are stopping by for the first time, hello, you are most welcome. Please kindly do well to like this video, share and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to leave me a comment, maybe a question or contributions. Please let me know in the comment section. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming right back. Now, so many people are looking to move abroad, and UK and Canada are the most popular countries people move to in recent times to study, to work, to live, and all. So many people are now like, where do I even go to? Do I go to Canada? Do I go to UK? Where exactly am I going to in this my relocation plan? Where should I plan to go to? And I know this decision can be difficult because you may want to know the best place to go to based on family reasons, financial reasons, personal reasons, future plans, and all of that. So in this video, we're going to consider the pros and cons of studying and living in the UK versus Canada. When we are done, you can now make the decision yourself. Before I start, both countries offer the best outcome to both students and workers, regardless of where you are coming from. But of course, one of them may be better for you than the other. The first thing we're going to consider is, so for students, let's consider how long their programs take. So in the UK, undergraduate programs normally take roughly 3 years, except for Scotland, where most undergraduate programs are for 4 years. And master's program in the UK is roughly 1 year, although you can get some 2 year courses. While in Canada, most undergraduate courses last for 4 years, while masters can last from 2 years, 3 years, and above. PhD in the UK is roughly from 3 to 5 years, while in Canada, PhD is from 4 years and above, or maybe 4 years to 6 years. When it comes to how you learn in both countries, in the UK, once you start your program, whether it's undergraduate, you go straight to the point. Like if you're going for nursing, you go straight to the point from year one to final year. You are basically studying what you are studying. But in Canada, sometimes during the year one, you are basically going around doing different things that are not even connected to what you are studying in the university. Well, this is not bad, but some students say that it is tedious for them. Basically, that's just it. In UK, you go straight to the point. In Canada, you go roundabout before getting to the point. Next point we'll consider is their grading system. In the UK, if you make 70% and above, that's a distinction. While if you score 40% and below, that's a fail. UK system is more like the percentage-based grading system. While in Canada, they use the CGPA grading scale. The 70%, which is a distinction in the UK, may be graded as a second class upper in Canada. For this point, I think I prefer the UK grading system to Canadian grading system. Now, the third point we'll consider is the World University Ranking. According to Times Higher Education World University Ranking, Oxford University in the UK is ranked first in the world. University of Cambridge is ranked second, and Imperial College London is ninth. While the best universities in Canada, which is University of Toronto, is ranked 21st, University of British Columbia is 37th, and McGill University is 44th. And also bear in mind that these universities I've just mentioned, most of them are currently offering scholarships to international students to come study in their university. So you can kindly check out my videos, or you can go on Google and check out each universities. The fourth point, which is one of the most important points, is the tuition fee. The UK is undoubtedly one of the most costly countries you can study in. I mean, in the whole world, UK is too costly to study in. You hardly get a program that is less than £10,000. I know there's a university right now in the UK that offers a program of £8,000, but that £8,000 is just for the arts courses alone. So if you go for the science courses, they are from £10,000 in that same university. While you can get a university in Canada with tuition fee as low as £6,000. Of course, their tuition fee is in Canadian dollars, but when you convert it to pounds, you could see that the difference is quite much. So most universities in Canada are cheaper than universities in the UK. The next point we'll also consider is the difference in the cost of living in both countries. Yes, we know that both Canada and UK, they are very costly to live in. when it comes to normal cost of living, both electricity bills, water bills, gas bills, and all these things are kind of costly in both countries. However, for the UK, if you live in London, you should expect to spend roughly £1,200 a month on feeding and house rent and other things in between. This may be more depending on how large your family is and how much you consume a month. While if you live inside London, you spend nothing less than £1,700 a month on your cost of living. While in Canada, you may spend around £1,000 a month, depending on how large your family is and the province you are living in as well. But then again, food is kind of cheaper to buy in the UK than in Canada. So I don't know if you understand that. So cost of living generally is cheaper in Canada than in UK. But then food is cheaper in UK than in Canada. Next point is the work while studying. So in both countries, you are allowed to work 20 hours a week during term time and unlimited number of hours a week out of term time. The next point we will consider is the post-study work visa. So the UK offers 2 years post-study work visa for undergraduate and master's program, while it is 3 years for PhD. And in Canada, their post-study work visa lasts from 8 months to 3 years. And if you study a higher degree, your post-study work visa tends to be higher. For this post-study work visa, I think Canada is a bit better off from the perspective of staying longer. So if you want to stay longer, I think Canada is a bit better than the UK. Scholarships available in both countries. Both countries are currently offering scholarships to international students. I mentioned that earlier. But for me, I find it easier to apply to scholarships in the UK than scholarships in Canada. When it comes to university applications, I think UK is easier to apply to than Canada. And also in most universities in Canada, you'd have to pay application fee to apply to the university. While most universities in the UK are very free to apply to you, except you want to apply through UCAS. Without the UCAS, you can also apply straight to the universities. But if you are applying through UCAS, you have to pay a little amount of money to apply to 5 universities. The next point is language. Now, both countries have English as their official language, which makes it easier for international students to communicate with people easily because once there's a language barrier, it seems there is a barrier in everything else. However, in Canada, French is also an official language, which is a bonus for international students because you get to learn a second or a third language. One thing I don't like about Canadian universities is that most of them require IELTS or TOEFL for you to apply to the universities. While in the UK, most universities here are happy for you to use your WAEC, although some universities would also require IELTS and TOEFL, but most of them that require these IELTS ask this from countries that don't speak English at all. But if you have a proof that you wrote English in your high school and you did well, most universities in the UK will accept that. The next important point is your salary after graduation. So in the UK, your salary after graduation as an undergraduate is from £25,000, depending on the job. You may be earning about 19,000 or £20,000 as well. But let's say on average, it is from £25,000. While in Canada, your salary after graduation is about 40,000 Canadian dollars. Now, if we convert that to pounds, it's about 20 something thousand pounds as well. But at the end of the day, you don't spend this money in pounds, you spend it in dollars, in Canadian dollars. Even though you don't spend this money in pounds, but it seems the pound still has higher value than the Canadian dollars. But then again, it depends as well. So I think for me, I think Canada is better in this aspect. Maybe because of the huge number I've had, 40,000 Canadian dollars as to 25,000 pounds. Oh well. It's left for you to decide. The next point is the healthcare system. And currently, people have been complaining about the NHS. Some people are like, you have to get to almost dying before a doctor can see you in the UK now. But the truth is, they are currently experiencing this shortage of healthcare workers, doctors, nurses, and the rest of them. If they're experiencing this shortage, they should recruit more. I know they're recruiting right now, but they should recruit more than they are doing already. But then again, the healthcare system also in the UK is okay. For you to move to the UK as a student or as a worker, you have to pay your immigration health surcharge per year for up to number of years by granted visa. While in Canada, how you go about your health insurance depends on the province you are going to. So some provinces will allow you move to the country and then apply for your health insurance, then you pay and or they sort that out for you. While for UK, if you're moving on a work or study visa, you can't even in fact, you cannot even apply for your visa if you don't pay the immigration health surcharge before applying for the visa. At some point during your application, you will get to that point where they say immigration health surcharge. If you can't provide that, I am not sure you can continue with your application. Some people are also of the opinion that both countries are horrible when it comes to their healthcare system. But I know that you can't compare their system to some countries somewhere. I know you understand what I'm talking about. If you have a child in Canada, whether as a student or as a worker, your child becomes a citizen by birth, and this is one top-notch point for me. You don't have to start waiting and applying for the child again. While in the UK, if you have a child as a student or as a worker, your child is not a citizen by birth. Your child will have to go through the naturalization process, except if one or both parents have their indefinite leave to remain or their British passport. And so when it comes to childbirth, then Canada should be your destination. Another point is childcare. This is mostly for parents with children. See, childcare is not easy. Honestly, I'm telling you guys from experience, childcare is not easy. It's not easy in both countries. But from my research, a lot of people are of the opinion that Canada is cheaper than UK when it comes to childcare. Generally, for me and from my experience, I think it is easier to get a UK study or work visa than a Canadian study or work visa. However, it is easier to get a permanent residence permit in Canada than in the UK. UK takes a lot of time, a lot of process. Why Canada, you can even apply to become a permanent resident from outside Canada. And if you go through the process, it may take time, but if you go through the process and you are successful, they will let you come to their country and become a permanent resident immediately. In the UK, you don't have such option. In summary, based on the pros and cons I've given you in this video, I think it is left for you to decide which one you think works best for you. You can decide this based on what you are more interested in studying. So if you are more interested in studying in a country where the education system is top notch, then you may consider the UK. And if you are more interested in studying or moving to a country where you get your permanent residence easily, your child becomes a permanent resident, then you should consider Canada. Generally, the cost of living in the UK is more expensive than living in Canada. So if you're also considering the cost of living, I think Canada should also be a destination on your mind. But when it comes to cultural diversity, a more flexible way of life, more opportunities, more jobs, and all, then UK should be the destination you will consider. So, some extra points, some people feel Canada is colder than the UK. So, it's really cold here in the UK, but if people are saying that it is even colder in Canada than in the UK, then I'm sure it's going to be very, very cold in Canada. And also, if you want a country that is close to America, then Canada should be your destination. However, if you want a country where you can get a visa that can take you around most European countries, then UK should also be your destination. So from this comparison, I believe you know the one that is leading based on what you want. You can decide and go for that one. But at the moment, if you don't have any navigation used, then I think it should be okay to apply to these two countries. If you're looking for jobs or you're looking to study, you can apply to both countries, and anyone that works out for you, then you can choose that one. I hope this video helps. Don't forget to let me know in the comment section which one you prefer. And that's that about this video. Thank you guys for watching. Until I see you again in the next one, to take care, stay safe, and bye.